right, today we're joined by Augustin from Free Malaysia Today. Thank you so much for talking to us on Frontpage this morning. Good morning.
Hi, good morning.
Are you okay? Still asleep?
Yes.
A bit too early.
half asleep.
All right.
Anyways, let's get to our first article that we found. With the amended school schedule, there are actually less holidays for the students and teachers, and some teachers are not very happy with that. With most exams being cancelled anyways, and teachers who were still actively teaching during the MCO, we're just wondering why the need to reduce the number of holidays.
Right. So according to the Education Ministry, the reason for this was to help schools in planning their teaching and learning process after being closed for 3 months. And there's been mixed reactions to this. Of course, the teachers are understandably unhappy because a lot of them have bought their tickets for their holidays and so on. But we can also see some positive reactions from students who, when they learn online, they can't really clarify certain things with the teacher on the spot. And so they feel they need more time for their exams.
So it was initially 42 days for the year-end holiday, and now they've reduced it to 14 days. So it's quite a big reduction actually for the year-end holidays. In your personal opinion, should they just revert it back to the original year-end holidays
42?
of 42 days for the sake of the teachers?
Well, I can understand the teachers, their concerns. And I mean, I would hate to lose a large chunk of my holidays, but I believe that the ministry has, already looked at all the possible scenarios, and this is probably in coming up with the best solution. So I think since the decision has been made and communicated, it should probably continue, carry on.
So if you were in the position of, let's say, the Ministry of Education, and then you had all these things to plan for in the next years and everything, you just lost 3 months, would you have done the same thing?
It's a tough question. If it had to be done, I would guess so, but I would say that maybe there would be something that maybe an incentive that could be provided to the teachers.
Now, allocations of 1 billion ringgit for infrastructure projects have been approved for 3 states' constituencies in Northern Sarawak alone as snap elections in the state looms. Now, historically in Sarawak, there have been lots of promises of improved infrastructure before an election, but it'll be years before the project actually materializes or even approved at all. In your opinion, should Sarawakians buy into this promise now?
In East Malaysia, it's always about politics of development. I can't really say I'm in a position to say how Sarawak voters should vote. But I think what's important is for them to actually look at the individual track record of the elected representatives, and see what they have actually been able to do. Of course, there's often a narrative that, a government representative can bring development. I think that's not always the case. At the end of the day, you just have to look at their track record and whether they've been working hard to deliver to the people.
But if you're talking about track record, wasn't there this incredibly long highway that's been talked about?
Borneo Highway.
Yeah.
That's been talked about for the past 20 years, I think.
And that has never.
Yes.
It's in the process right now. Apparently.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's in the process. It's a very, very huge highway. I think it's still in the process of being built. There was a slight delay, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that it's back on track.
So but based on that, I mean, you talked about track record. That was that a good track? Based on that, was that good track recording? I don't even know what.
Well, I mean, that's a federal government project, so yeah.
Nothing to do with the state government.
Not really, yeah. But the state has taken over projects which the last administration had cancelled. The previous administration had cancelled some infrastructure projects, and it has been reported that the state has taken over these projects. These are smaller infrastructure projects, bridges, and so on.
Now, this is an exciting article, or articles been written about this case. The Perak MB has been criticized as selfish by opposition for buying a new luxury car while many others go jobless during these difficult times. Now, even if the luxury car was discounted, right, should the MB have refrained himself from buying a new car at this time when there's economic instability in the country?
All right. So for me, no, because however you look at it, it looks bad, lah. I mean, when you change to a luxury car, when hundreds of thousands have lost their jobs and or are taking pay cuts, it looks insensitive.
Okay, there's actually a discussion previously sort of restricting government vehicles to specific models, right? Should this apply to state government as well? All right, let's get to our next article. Food prices going up despite prices of basic goods and services going down. Now, the prices of basic goods and services have gone down 2.9% as compared to the same time last year. However, food prices have been going up in recent months. So why is this happening? There's no balance here.
I think if you talk about food items, then it really depends on the items. I think that, if I'm not mistaken, eggs are now cheap due to a oversupply, but chicken, on the other hand, is more expensive.
Which is strange. It's a chicken and egg story.
So one poultry farmer I spoke to said the reason why chicken is expensive is due to supply factors which affect the supply, including the depreciation of the ringgit, the cold weather, which means colder temperatures, and chicks are more susceptible to illness, and this makes them grow at a slower rate.
Okay.
So yeah, it all boils down to supply and demand.
Okay, so some food items have gone up in prices, but some has gone down due to the supplies. But how come our food prices are going up? So should we be cooking home more often now and not going out to eat?
Oh yeah, I mean, I think a lot of Malaysians during the MCO, improved their cooking skills at home. They were sharing, and I think of course, you can see the difference lah. When you cook at home, it's so much cheaper lah. You can portion your meals better. So if that's always a feasible option, why not?
Do you think this is the best solution to this problem for us Malaysians to cook more at home?
I guess it depends lah. I think for a lot of working couples, anyway, especially if they have children, it may not always be easy lah. But hopefully now more companies will allow their staff to work from home. It gives them a bit more of that flexibility, and you won't lose hours in the traffic jam.
Yeah, but shouldn't the government do something about like putting a ceiling on certain food prices? Like, because every time during festivals, we always see certain goods, there's a ceiling for everything. Should the authorities step in and say, no, we're going to control certain food prices?
If you're talking about raw foods, then
Yeah.
it's actually quite difficult. There are sometimes people complain that the cost of production, or the government control price is too low, and then later on what they will do is they will just increase they want to make the money back. The market is still the best regulator. If certain foods are too expensive, if can opt for alternatives, and when the demand drops, the price should drop too.